Okay, so here's my final presentation, and I guess we'll just get right to it. So my beginning slide here is the video concerning Gapminder that inspired my project. It's got its own narration, actually embedded in the Prezi. Basically, it just talks about how I was inspired to do this entire project. Moving on, here is the graph that shows the interconnection of coal throughout the states. It really helps you understand how they're all connected, especially on the left-hand side of the graph, concerning the underground and surface operations right here. These are in short tons, so every 2,000 pounds is 1 unit on this map. And so which brings us to the question, is the coal industry really progressing in a green manner? And so we're going to look at a couple of the top states that produce coal to kind of check this out. So by analyzing data found in Google Public Data, we can come up with some graphs here. This is per capita greenhouse gas emissions. And as you can see, Wyoming is vastly above everyone else, but they produce a lot more coal than anyone else. Then we also have West Virginia, Montana, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania, kind of all trailing in the same margin, nowhere on the scale of Wyoming. So if we come up here, you can look at the number of changes in mines over a 2-year period. You can see that Kentucky increased their mines. Montana had no change. Pennsylvania had a growth. West Virginia had a large growth. Wyoming actually lost a couple of mines, mainly due to consolidation. So the direct comparison of number of mines changed and percent production. Wyoming's production went down, even though, especially because they lost all of these mines. But it didn't go down significantly enough, and like I said, that's mainly due to consolidation. Montana's production dropped off the face of the earth. I really don't know what's going on with Montana. There wasn't a lot of data available on it. Kentucky's production increased, as did a number of mines. West Virginia's production decreased, even though the number of mines increased. And then you can look at Pennsylvania, they stayed about even. So the increase in coal production in the past few years would indicate that the usage of coal has gone up, because you're using it more, so you're going to produce more. So when we see that the emissions are decreasing as our coal production is increasing slightly, can we conclude that coal is in fact becoming cleaner? So if you follow through with this video, it's the Google Earth tour of West Virginia and Wyoming and Kentucky and a little bit of Montana. And what this video mainly indicates is how we really produce all of this coal in such consolidated areas. And there's also it's got its own narration embedded inside the video. And then as you can see, it just kind of moves all around. It really talks about Wyoming producing a lot more coal than anybody else. And especially when you get down in here into Montana, there's basically no coal being produced at all. And I mean, that's just due to, I guess, they're running out of resources and they cannot compete with Wyoming, so they really have no market to sell to. West Virginia and Kentucky are pretty much exclusively supplying the Northeast. All of their coal goes up there. And then as we zoom in here, we're going to take a look at a shaft entrance for a black diamond operation located in Kentucky. That is essentially the schematic of a mine shaft. You have a long elevator shaft leading to basically a portal, and that runs about a mile underground. So as crude as that looks, it's actually a pretty accurate schematic of how a mine shaft works. And so moving along, we'll come to the conclusion that based upon this data, I feel that we can conclude coal, or at least coal usage, is in fact becoming cleaner. Our production has increased, our use has increased, but our CO2 emissions are remaining stable. And so that would indicate to us that coal use is cleaner. We are using more and not producing more CO2. So hopefully that's good news for the future. Thank you.